Morning, look at that. It doesn't get any quieter than this. 8 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't get any quieter than this. But yesterday the joint was jumping. It was a quiet morning. It was kind of like this yesterday morning, New Year's morning. And during the morning people came, and by the afternoon it was buzzing. And then the evening, once it went dark, it was crazy, crazy, crazy. All the joints were jumping. Happy New Year, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's chilly, 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 chilly. I gave in, I put the air conditioner on, so you might hear the humming in the background, but it's still chilly. We are on impression number 6. We're on impression number 6, but it doesn't match exactly the one that's on the internet. When I did this 15 years ago, whenever it was, I did a certain printing order. I'm doing it in a different order this time. You find an example here. I should have prepared this, sorry. That's what we got up to yesterday afternoon. The URL, you can see step 5. If you change it, step 5, step 6, step 7, you go up to step 15. On that sequence there, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is all gray blocks. Then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are all colored stones. Then 11, 12, 13, 14 are all fish. This time I'm going to mix it up. I did the first 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gray. Then instead of doing 5 stones and 4 fish blocks separately, I'm going to merge them. I'm going to do stones, fish, stones, no. Fish, stones, fish, stones, fish. I forget which way around. Anyway, we're alternating. So this is number 6. So the order doesn't match now what you see on that procedure on the net. And the reason is, I don't want to do the same one. I'm going to do fish, then fish, then fish, then fish. The paper gets too moist in the same place. And I don't know how I did it all those years ago. So anyway, what we are now, I've done most of this last night. This is the basic fish block, and I almost finished it last night. Instead of finishing it off, I thought I'd save the last 20 sheets of this one, then we'll switch out and we'll start one of the stones. So you're going to see the finish of one impression and the start of another impression. And then we have a show and tell ready for the end of the stream. It's clear in Tokyo. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful blue sky. It's a sunny morning out there. You'll see during the course of this stream, the sunshine you're seeing on those buildings is reflection. The sun actually is coming this way towards that. The light on the ground there, that row of light, that's coming from the Don Quixote building. Oh, so John's got this already. So. John, why don't you just move here and get it over with? Now this paper is now very, very, very soft. It's got 6 impressions on it. It's very moist, very soft. And I need this to stop it pulling up from the back. And here's what we've got to so far. There's 5 levels of gray making the stones. And now I'm putting the base fish tone. There'll be 4 tones for the fish. And it is soft paper. And it's diagonal. I know you can see why, you know, if I had put this, whatever, I was trying to maximize the use of the blocks. It's obvious what's happening here. The registration marks are here and here. Here's it before. There's after 5 impressions of gray getting stronger bit by bit by bit by bit. Any other paper to be taken out? No, nobody's going to be around here at all. It's just me. Just me. Looking good, looking fun. It was a lot of carving on this one. Okay, so 20 sheets of this and then we'll switch colors. It's not baking paper, it's it's made for the job. It's a silicone paper. This is from Goto-san, the Baron maker Goto-san. That's all Japanese for you. Whatever, it's in Matsumura-san's catalog. It's called ategami. Ategami. The paper to strike, and it's he gets it from some industrial place, and it's got some silicone kind of spray on it, and it's extremely thin, extremely strong, and does the job really, really well. We keep 2 sheets because it gets wet, and as soon as it gets wet, it loses its power. So you switch one and switch one out. I have to answer the question here. Protocol for carved areas. You'll see this coming up actually. This block here. This is going to be printed 3 times. There's a base tone for the fish here. This will be the second level of base tone, which doesn't have fins. This gets printed 3 times. Brown first, then red gradation, and then green gradation. And between the colors, I just take it to the sink and wash it off. There's no special scrubbing or whatever. Just wash off what's on the surface and move on. Is the audio a little bit quieter? The microphone's right there. Instead of putting the mic on my chest here, the mic is right there. You can see it here. Why is the pigment going? The pigment's going on the tile here today because I don't want much. I want such a small, tiny amount of pigment that putting it on here, it's just almost always going to be too much. And if I weaken it too much, put too much water in it, then it's just too wet. So we've got a pigment that's fairly thick, it's fairly rich. It's fairly rich, and I couldn't possibly dab it on, because one dab would be enough for 10 prints. So it goes onto the tile, and just simply tap, 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 just pick up what you want from the tile. That allows complete control down to microscopic, whatever, amounts. Never put two colors on the block at the same time. In our world, that's really, really rare. It would be sometimes possible. We wouldn't put two colors on the same piece of wood, on the same area. But for example, making a print, it could be zone A and zone B. It's red here and blue here. You can do that if you've got enough time. Red, blue, brush them both out, put the paper down and rub. But it means you've got to work frantic fast so they don't dry out. This is stage 6 of 15. 9 more steps left. There's a link to the finished version, I don't know, a link to the finished version somewhere here. That's the finished one there. How did New Year's go in Essex? I don't know. I've just been sitting here. I went to the convenience store on the 31st to stock up on a bunch of food. I haven't been out or been anywhere. Judging by the number of people that's been on the streets, the visits to the shrine are way down to a tiny fraction of what they used to be. On a normal January 1st here, it's a river of people. All through the night, it's a river of people. This year it's not, so most people are obeying the deal, stay home. But having said that, yesterday afternoon was very, very busy outside here. Young couples strolling, getting rides in the rickshaw carts, dining, drinking. It's been extremely quiet. So what you're seeing here, this is step 6, but it doesn't match step 6 on that version that's on the net, because I've changed the order this time around. We're going to get to the same place, but it's just a question of abusing the paper. I didn't want to print the fish 4 times in a row, so I'm going to do fish stones, fish stones, fish stones, back and forth. Today's show and tell is going to be fun. Today's show and tell, it's going to take me back in time to when I was 10 years old. We have a package here, and inside here are 300 prints. 300 prints. So they say. Next block, moisten it in advance. Let me see what's going on. There's 10 sheets now we've done. I put X, Y, heads, tails, heads, tails, heads, tails, 5. A little bit staggered. Heads, tails, heads, tails, heads, tails, 5. They're a little bit, what's the word when you lay them on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I forget. Lay them in a bit staggered way. So 10, 5 and 5. The next 10 are going to go on top of those. 5 and 5, and that'll be the batch of 100. I don't think that would be so interesting. You'll see. You'll see why when we get there. This 10 are going to go just directly on top of the previous 10. It's cold here today. It's cold. It's midwinter. It's clear and cold. As the room, as the day goes on, this room is going to get warmer. I kicked in the heat of the air conditioner about 30 minutes ago, but the room just freezes during the night. There's no insulation in the buildings whatsoever. So by this afternoon, it'll be livable here. Rubbing my hands up. My fingers are cold, that's why. I'm trying to get warm. I've just started here in the morning. I've just started up. But the cold is much, much better for the work. Much better. The paper is stronger. There's less danger of mold. And honestly speaking, when you got big stuff to do, bang, 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 you get hot real quick. You get warm really quick. Sometimes the girls don't even put the heater on here. Historically, when you read the books by the researchers who researched the old craftsmen and stuff like that, printers and stuff in Tokyo in the old days, in Edo in the old days, there's two major, you can break them into two groups. There's the kind of printer who was a professional printer craftsman and worked all year long. That was their job. And there were low-level ones, medium-level ones, top-level ones, whatever. There was all kinds of craftsmen working in Tokyo. But they say that was only actually about 30% of the printers who worked in Edo at that time were actual full-time professional printers. The other 70% of the work that was done in the winter by people who came up from Tohoku, the cold area to the north of here, up to Hokkaido, not Hokkaido, not that far, but Tohoku, Akita Prefecture, areas like that. Once the agriculture shut down in the fall, because it's a cold area, lots of the workers migrated to Edo for the winter. And woodblock printing, making books, was one of the jobs that those migrant workers did during the winter before they headed back up north again for the spring. So most of the book publishing, book printing, we're told, was done in the winter months. And this is one color stuff. It's just making book pages. Bang, print, bang, print, bang, print. Anybody can learn it in 15 minutes. So migrant workers could do that job. And it was such a literate society. There were so many books published that there was work for these guys. So once the harvests were done, whatever, up in Tochigi and Yamagata and places like that, down they came to Tokyo, Edo. Must have had bunkhouses or something. I've got no idea how they lived. And they printed. This is upstairs in Asakusa. We're on the third floor, the front room. Yes, this is the printing room in Asakusa. And the street view you're seeing is the balcony right outside where I am. I'm next to the window here. And the camera is on an octopod. The camera is hanging off the balcony rail outside. Someone's doing a 24-hour stream in Tokyo. That would have been a bit difficult because this year, for the first year in many, many years, the train system shut down over the New Year's. Normally, the train system in Tokyo, they shut down every night, but normally at New Year's, they keep it running all night long so people can get to the shrines and back and forth during the night. They open it January 1st, January 2nd, they run the trains. This year, at the government request, they didn't do that. They shut it down. So it would have been much more difficult doing a 24-hour stream. Oh, bike, I see, okay. You mean like a motorbike or bicycle bike? Okay, I think we got 2 impressions left here. 2 of this, and then we're going to change colors. Someone's asking, what are we printing? What are we printing? Same thing. I should have put it up in the one corner of the window here, I guess. Someone's got it. Okay, that's sheet number 100. That's after 6 impressions. 5 grays to do the background stones and the background of the fish. And then this is the first of 4 color tones that will go on the fish. So that stack has been just like this. It's been 20 prints, newspaper 20, newspaper 20, newspaper 20, newspaper, all the way up. Let's leave that out. So. Okay, key point here, you saw me put in the print paper in front of me here is face down. So imagine if it was all one stack, 100 sheets, number 1 is at the top, 100 is at the bottom. It's face down. I pull number 1, print it, I put it here face up so I can see what it is, see if it's okay, check, no problem. Number 2, it's face down on the block, over here face up. So you get the idea, over here it's face up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 100. At the end of one color, you flip that deck, and now here again it's face down in front of me ready for printing, and sheet number 1 is on the top again. So always the sheets go in the same order. These days, because we're using plywood blocks, plywood core blocks, block stretch is not so much of a factor. But in the traditional system, totally traditional system, not plywood, it's just a piece of cherry. As you're printing, number 1, you put water on, print it. Print number 2, put water on, print it. Through your stack, the block absorbs moisture, and the block can stretch. So in a traditional printing structure, moving from number 1 with your basic soda dry block, number 2, number 10, number 20, number 50, number 100, the block can actually expand while you're printing. So that means print number 100 as compared to print number 1, the block has expanded. It's actually a different registration. So that's why you've got to keep the thing in absolute order. Number 1 is always number 1 for every color. It's followed by number 2. The pieces of paper don't have a number on the back, but they are in absolutely an order. And they come out of here, they get printed, and they go onto the outstack in the same order. Always, always, always. So the same expansion happens. You're printing block number 2, the block starts to expand a little bit. The colors will, for the most part, match up. And if they don't match up, you know where you are and you can control it. If the sheets have been mixed up in your batch, and some are wide and some are narrow, and some are wide and some are narrow, you're host. You're done, you're done, you're done. So it's inviolable number 1 basic rule. The paper stays in the same order, always, always, always. Again, the bench is backwards. It's a right-handed bench. All the stuff is built for right-handed printers here, and I'm sort of futzing around with it. Okay, we switch out the brown. We switch out the brown and we switch in a blue. A little bit of a tealy blue here, as you can see it. And same thing, it's not going to go directly on the block, it's going to go on the tile. A couple of others, I switched out the barren too. I switched out a stronger one and I'm putting in a weaker one because this is not, the size of the carved areas here is much smaller. The last one had a beta, a flat area that needed a fairly strong barren to print it, but this one now is just little marks everywhere, and if the barren was too strong it'll just smash the paper. Oh, you're in Tokyo! Nick, you're in Tokyo, you made it! What's the story? The last known god, just so everybody knows, the bot man, whatever, the young man who has built our bot is here, the last known god. I tell you, if you have just flown in, then people here are going to treat you like you have a contagious disease or something. so. I think I told this story when I went to Ome a couple of months ago. I haven't been overseas since last February, but I got my travel bag. It still had the Haneda sticker on it. And I had to carry some wood blocks to Ome. This is 3-4 months ago. I don't even remember now. So I put the wood blocks inside my travel case, got on the train at Tokyo Station with my bag in front of me. It's got a Haneda sticker, and nobody came anywhere near me. Nobody sat here, nobody sat there. People are standing all over the train. So you could work this to your advantage. Keep your travel bag. Now this blue, we want this blue light, 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 almost invisible. If we go back to that previous version, what was it, step 6 in the old version that had the blue? So this one here is where the blue comes up. Too dark already, too dark. Questions. Why is alcohol used? I don't actually have any alcohol here today. There's some. Ayumi-san has some behind her. We have this. She's got this at her workstation. It's ethanol, and it's, what is it? It's a 70% mix? I forget what it is. Doesn't seem to say. I thought they had to say all the time what it is. It's ethanol. I think it's a 70 mix. I'm not sure. And it's not part of the day-to-day work. What it is when this pigment was being mixed, when the dry pigment is going in the bowl, some of the pigments will dissolve in water easily. A blue like this won't. So you put some alcohol in first, and that acts as what they call a surfactant. It does something to the surface of the pigment, not molecules, pigment lumps, so that it mixes with water. They use sake as well. We don't use sake anymore because it's got sugar, whatever, it's full of sugar and stuff which we don't want in the pigment. This goes in there, it does its job, and it evaporates completely. Also, you see what's going on here? I've been rubbing, paste, pigment, rubbing. I'm getting the brush saturated. I haven't touched the printing paper yet. If I just sat down, pigment, paste, rub, try and print, the brush is still empty. I want the brush to get full of this stuff. Pigment, paste, tiny bit more color. This is a big brush and we're going to get it full. If I start off with a dry brush, the first 3, 4, 5 prints will all be a different color. Maybe we're okay. Let's try. So, sheet number 1. There's no number on it, but I know this is sheet number 1. And what I don't know yet is where are the printing areas, so I'm flying blind here. And we've got the first base tone. I think it looks a little green on my monitor here, but it's actually more of a blue. It's a little bit tealy. That's 199 more times. Okay, I'll see you later. Also still dry. Even though I warmed it up. When I came here to sit here about a half an hour ago, first thing I did was put water on the blue block. I can maybe get away with this. Let's see. If I lay every other sheet of paper backwards, do I ever place it the wrong way? No, never. Except when I do. This time it's easy actually. There's no risk of that this time because I've left the anamimi, the selvage. So there's only one possible way it can go onto the block. But if the paper was cut with corners, straight corners on all sides, it is possible. So it's backwards, but there's no way it doesn't go in the registration marks, of course. So. Do the blocks ever wear out? Eventually, yes, they do. You can make many hundreds of prints. For a print like this, we could make thousands, absolutely thousands. When the blocks do wear, it's not from this tool, it's from this tool, rubbing on the edge of the wood. Look at that sunlight out there. Where's that coming from? That could be direct sunshine coming through a couple of buildings. What's the question? Did the recycling ever get taken care of? I'm not sure what you mean, the recycling. There's a bunch of cardboard downstairs. I didn't make it in time. It'll have to go out next week, later this week. Can you hear the crows? Do I have the audio? Yeah. The outside audio is on. It's muted a little bit. Should I turn up the audio outside? That's 6 of 15. 9 more to go. That's 10 of 100. It's the perfect job for control freaks, you know, absolutely perfect job. There's so many things to control, and the better you control them, the better the job is done. You know, it's the perfect job for me, absolutely. Bit of water, touch of paste. Tiniest dab of pigment. There's going to be a visitor here today, maybe this morning, maybe this afternoon. Kazama-san, the lady from New York Chicken is coming over today. She wants to set up downstairs tomorrow. So we're going to figure out, find a table, give her a table. She wants to use a microwave oven, get some extension cords, get it ready. So it looks like tomorrow morning, downstairs in the lobby to the Mokuhankan building, she's going to sell New York chicken, what she calls New York chicken. Mokuhankan finally moves into the restaurant business. She's dropping over this morning to check out the place and to see what we can sort out, get extension cords ready and what kind of tables and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty quiet out there now, but this afternoon and this evening, and then also tomorrow, it will be jumping. So she wants to give it a go. New York chicken and Baron cookies, but I'm not quite ready for that yet, so. What's the favorite part of my job? There's no meaning to such a thing. It's a complex job that takes place over a period of many weeks, resulting in a product that gets made. There's no single thing that's definitive. Where am I here? Got some Japanese typed in here. What's this? Nihon no tezukuri wa omoshiroi da. Japanese handmade things are interesting. Are you learning Japanese? Is that the idea? It looks a little bit like learner's Japanese here. It's not quite what somebody would say in Japanese, but yes, thank you. You're studying Japanese, I guess, are you? What is the source of the blue? The one I'm using right now today, it's what they call BI. It's a completely artificial color. It's just from a pigment shop. No idea what it's made of. BI, beautiful blue. Does anybody know where to order a printer table? You mean this? It's a piece of wood. There's no ordering it. It's just a piece of wood. And this one doesn't suit me at all. It's too low. It's the wrong angle. This is not my printer station. Back in Ome, my own station is designed to fit exactly me, my body, my shape. It's not something you buy, it's something you make. How do do I get the blocks so smooth before carving? I don't. We send them out, of course. The blocks are prepared for us by a guy with a plane. I have done some of them here. I used a wood scraper. But no, the blocks are made for us, of course. We get the trees ready. We buy pieces of cut down trees. We dry it bit by bit. We do the laminating here in the building. We do the lamination ourselves, but we don't try and do the final dressing ourselves. We have done, but we've learned that it's better to send to professionals. Although the block you're seeing here, this was carved in 2008, 2009, before we started making our own blocks. So this was prepared by Wood like Matsumura. This is one of the blocks from Matsumura-san. How's our time? 9 o'clock, we're okay? Just keep going, just keep going. It's crazy putting the brush over there. It should go here, but this is a right-handed workstation, so. Okay, so there's 20. I did 5, 5, 5, and 5. That's one batch. There's now nothing left here in my input, so the newspaper comes over. And I feel the front end of the newspaper, because this was open, closed, open, closed, open, closed, the front end of the newspaper has dried out. The back is okay, it's still moist. But the front end of this newspaper needs retouch. And that part of the process, as the sheets have gone over, as I printed each one, they were exposed to the air for what, 20, 30 seconds, so they dried out a little bit. They picked up moisture from the printed area, so they moistened up a little bit. The overall could be positive or minus. Today it seems just about okay. It lost a bit, it gained a bit, so it's okay. And then I moved the newspaper across, pretty much okay. But if the paper had dried out a bit too much, as I was doing each impression, moving the newspaper across, moisten it all over, moisten it, maybe both sides, put it in, and that moisture replenishes what's in the paper. So it's what's happening here. As I do each group of sheets, this is the key tool, the absolute key tool to keep this thing going. We don't want it to dry out, we don't want it to get soggy. So the 15 impressions, you're controlling it all the way through. This is, it's yagi, yeah, goat. This is a goat hair brush. This is a horse hair brush. Am I talking too much this morning? I don't know. You guys are asking questions. What can I say? It looks like John and the gang are answering lots of them. I'm getting more done on all. Each sheet is taking less time, right? The sheets we were doing on Thursday were really wide, and I must have spent minutes rubbing each one, I guess. I don't remember. Out you come. Out you come, ladies. Can air humidity be a problematic factor? Air humidity is a factor, of course. It's part of what we're doing, as I just said. The goal is to keep the moisture in the paper same start to finish. But if it's a dry room or a moist room, it's affecting the paper right now during the time that it's out. There's an air conditioner pumping down here, so it's dry. But with the paper only being out, exposed for, what was it, 15, 20 seconds? How long was it out for? But as I said, you control it. Whatever, there's your magic tool to control the whole thing. Is there such a thing as overdoing the moisture level in the paper? Yes, and that happened to me yesterday. The first 5 grays are wide, narrower, 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 narrower. So the area that the 5th block was going on yesterday afternoon, it was printed 5 times, and the moisture in the paper was too much. So last night, I've got them over there, I got some sheets of newspaper, chopped them in 1/4, and went through my whole stack before I went to bed last night. I took the whole stack, printing newspaper, newspaper, paper, newspaper, paper, newspaper. Put them in there group by group for about 15 seconds or so, and took out the water, the excess water. So you can easily put more water in with this thing on the newspaper and on the paper. When there's too much moisture in the paper, you've got to interleave it and take it out. And I did that last night. I might have to do it again when it comes time for the 4th impression on the fish. If we're doing this right, then every time I show you one of these, it should be exactly the same density, the same depth, the same darkness, the same tints. That's the printer's pride, you know. Trying to get sheet number 100 and sheet number 1 identical. That's the goal, anyway. That's a big difference between a place like Mokohankan, where we do the printing like this. Before we do an edition, or before we do a batch, we do the testing, Try darker, try lighter, get it all worked out. And once that's there, then there's a sample, and it's right here. There's a sample hanging in front of me here, which I'm testing and testing and testing against. And that sample is the goal. And you deviate from that, and it's a mistake. Whereas a creative type printmaker, someone like Karen in the group here, whatever, she actually has some more flexibility. She can look at something and say, gee, I like that, and she can fly with it. For us, at the printing time, there's no decisions being made. It's all decided what to do before we start this part of the job. So the testing and the artistic decisions and the fooling around with different color tones, that happens before this job starts. We never mix those two parts of the job. In the traditional workshop. Because the guy doing this job is not the designer. It's not his picture. It is today, I designed that, but traditionally in our workshop, the printer is the printer, and the design was done by somebody else for most of our work. Today is an exception. So what are you talking about now? boy, boy, a bit fast. I can't see what's going on there. Guess you're okay. It's tap water, but I'm using, but not just tap water, it's filtered, heavily filtered. Out in the tap there, we've got a filter underneath, one of those, what do you call it? I don't know, it's some Swedish name, I forget what it is. What we're trying to filter out is iron particles. I know. In an old building like this, and we had bad experience with this a few years back. A bunch of prints went out with, and it turned out there had been iron particles in the water, and they really started to rust in the prints. So we filter the water to take out any chance of iron particles, because they will rust in the finished print. So we're not filtering for viruses or anything or whatever. It's filtering for minerals, big chunks of minerals. I forget the name. It's give me a hint. It's something Scandinavian. I don't know what it's called. Give me a minute. Brita. Brita. B-R-I-T-A. Or not. I got it. Before I peeked, I got it. Yeah, it was a great wave print. So that was where it all disastered. Our own workshop had been okay. Those prints were made when we were in Ome, and my Ome house was fairly new and it was okay. We had a bunch of the great wave prints printed by Kubota-san, and he had just moved into a new workshop, old workshop. And none of us had known this, but it turned out that his water was full of iron. And we didn't discover it till months down the road after the prints had gone out. I had checked all the prints, they were okay, and people were sending me photographs of big, huge crap in the paper. We finally figured it out. The print came back to me, I got it under the microscope, and there's a physical brown little thing in there. What a chaos that was. Oh, it's show and tell time. Soka. Hang on. That's the thing when you're printing. Hum. What have we got here? Okay. I don't want to leave that open. So let me steal a sheet from the bottom here, just a second. I can't. Let me steal a sheet from the bottom. If I left this like this, even with plastic, it will dry. This away. Hopefully this is breaking one of our major rules. You know, when people are printing, you don't disturb them. You leave them alone, you don't disturb them. And it's an unbroken rule that when someone's printing a key block, you never go near them. Their phone is turned off, you don't touch them, you don't do anything with that person. And it's back to what I was saying before, when the blocks expand and contract. If you take a break, your block contracts. You come back to the block expands, and you're lost. You're absolutely lost. Okay, this is going to get dirty. I need a piece of newspaper or something. look at this. It's the newspaper from the workshop here, and the kids, somebody has been fooling around. How are we going to do this? I better, let's see. Hang on, how are we going to do this? Let me move the camera here. Let's try this. Earthquake coming. Oh, it won't come any farther, so God. Won't come any farther. Okay, I think I'm as close as I can get. Let's see. Okay, good. Block the block. Okay, I said there were 300 prints in a batch, and they are. They're match label prints, the famous match label prints. We're not going to sit here and count them all. And I paid too much for these. I paid too much. I paid way too much for this. And the reason I wanted this is, let me show you the auction list. This was a, oh, come on. There's a reason I wanted this. We've seen lots of these, excuse me, we've seen lots of these match label prints before. And a great many match label prints come in sets. Copy the link. So this auction came up the other day for a massive batch of 300 prints. And we have in our own collection random prints and some sets, and some random prints and some sets. And we have a huge number of broken sets that are not complete. We've got 5 out of 8 or stuff like that, or we've got 10 out of 12, or we've got 2 out of 10 or whatever. And looking at the auction list here, I could see this guy has this bunch of match label prints, and there's tons of broken sets in here. And I could see already among this pile of prints, we're going to fill in, as John said, we're going to fill in our broken sets. So it's plus minus. This one already I know. We do not have this one. We have some other members of this set. So this is just like Dave when he's 10 years old. He goes to C.F. Peters down the street on Portage Avenue in Winnipeg. The guy's supposed to, I was a stamp collector. And he had individual 1 stamps for $50, or 1 stamp for $5, or 1 stamp for 5 cents. Then he had these bags. And we would get them from the Stanley Stamp Company. And here Dave is back, he's 10 years old, and he's got a big bag of stamps. And he has got to go through these things and find the ones that are missing in his collection. And the reason that it's interesting for you guys is, I said I paid too much for this, way too much. I paid 30,000 yen for this, which is 100 yen each. And what I'm going to do is, Yamada-kun is coming on Friday. He's going to go through this thing, he's going to sort them out into sets, and he's going to pick out the ones we need, which will maybe be no more than 20 or 30 or 40 of these, and then the rest of them, out they go. And maybe I'll have Cameron do something through Instagram, or maybe we'll put them in the flea market. I don't know. We'll sort out what we need. And this is just like being 10 years ago, 10 years old. I'm not going to even try to think about going through this today, but it would be nice just to show you some of these things. What you're looking at is a full woodblock print, carved and printed. You can see the scale by my hands. This is Miidera. This is from a group of Omi Hakke, 8 views of Omi. And what you're looking at is a real woodblock print, carved and printed, key block, color blocks, exactly the same process as with all of our larger prints. And look at the scale. I mean, come on, come on, come on. Let's try and find some nice ones. There's a few dogs in here. This stuff, I've seen this series before. This is a reprint. Focus. Shh. Camera, do your job, please. Hi, thank you. I'm a bit too close, maybe. Anyway, this series I recognize. It's a Suzuki Harunobu series. These are not woodblock prints. This particular series is insatsubutsu. These are offset printed. So those ones we know. I know they were in there. Too bad, can't be helped. Away they go. Let's just grab some other ones. We have a yokai series. Come on, camera, do your thing. What's wrong? Is it focusing on something else? There we go. The yokai series. That looks like a kappa on the right. It looks like it's a ghost stealing a baby. I don't know. No idea. So the camera's trying to read the background, I guess. So. And there are so many here. So many here from series, broken series that we have. This one on the left. I've got a few of these. I didn't know how large the series is. Some kind of a series from a temple, Jews, 13. They're numbered. These ones are numbered up at the top. I don't recognize the temple name. Obviously a Buddhist series. And some of the detail is just killing. Some of the detail is just killing. Here's another. We've seen both of these. Another one from the yokai and another one from that same series. This is Returning Sales. The names on these, the name on the left here, this is Kobayashi-san. I can't read his first name, it's Kobayashi. This is the name of the sponsor. The people who made these prints were commissioned by collectors groups. And the sponsors got their names on each one of the prints. And they were done. Oops, are we okay here? I think we're okay. This is not dramatically Shunga. I think it's supposed to be that way, maybe, is it? I don't know. And there were collectors. The collectors groups would have an idea, let's do our next project of such and such. And they would hand in sketches sometimes, or sometimes they would just hire a designer. The era we're talking about, these are mostly for the late Taisho or early Showa. I got my pens wrong. So these are 1920s. Give and take, this is 1920s. And they weren't made as one print, one print, one print, one print. They were made in groups. And in fact, we have a show and tell coming up next week to show you about that. They were made in gangs, 4 at a time, 8 at a time. No idea what the max was, although we have some interesting clues coming up. Oh, look. Oh, no way. Come on. This is a Hiroshige snow scene. I think it's Takenawa. And this is reproduced from a Hiroshige Oban print. And come on, look at the size of this. Come on. And this is a woodblock print. This is carved and printed, all the colors printed separately. You see the sun, the setting sun or rising sun. There's a glow in the sky there. I mean, come on, these guys are nuts. The kanji. This is all hand carved. I mean, come on, come on, come on, come on. There's tons of these on our website already. You know, we've got lots of these in the collection already. If you want to geek out on some of these up really close. Oh, this is inside. The right-hand side one here, this is offset printed. You can maybe see a screen. Up in the lantern, you can probably see the screen. This is not a woodblock print. The left-hand side is a woodblock print. They put a gradation on. Look, you see that? Her suit, her swimsuit. They've gone to the trouble of printing a gradation on it. Like, who would notice? I think it's aluminum powder. And so, 1920. This is Taisho era. This is the Roaring Twenties here in Japan. One of the words for it here in Japan is the Mobo Moga era. Mobo Moga, modern boy, modern girl. And it's the 20s type of fashion, the Taisho era ethic. It's a temple series, a travel around different temples, obviously. They're nice, monotones. These are nice, you know. Look at that. It's not one block. There's, I'm guessing, just simply 2 blocks. It's done with 2 blocks. And yet it's so full and realistic with 2 blocks in the same color. Beautiful. Hontoni beautiful. How much you can do with this. Oh, here's another one from that series. Look at this. This is... I said I paid too much for these. I'm starting to think I didn't pay too much for these. I mean, come on. This is a woodblock print. It's no joke. It's a woodblock print. I cannot wait to get these online. But I don't know. Do we have all 8? I don't know. This is a hake. It's where is it? It's Toto Yuki. I can't see it. It's the snow. 8 views of snow in the capital. Toto Yuki something hake. I can't remember the title and I can't see it here. And I don't know if we have all 8 here. I don't know. $300 of these things. 300 of these things. So as I said, we'll be making duplicates. Can you see the air? This is Taisho, absolutely. It's sort of an Art Nouveau or Art Deco. I don't quite understand the difference between those two. It's an Art Nouveau ethic in some of these. So Kantar's got it. There'll be only 7 in there, and they got to keep hunting for that last one. It'll come up on an auction, and somebody will know, you know, $500 for this print. Do I hear any bids? Here's another one from that 8 views of Omi. Yamada-kun, on Friday, he's going to get this box, and he's going to go in the tatami room where we used to have the print parties, where the old print parties were. He's just going to dump these on the floor. This is, you know which one this is, right? We had Returning Sales, we had Evening Bell, Countdown. Which theme is this? Not Ascending Geese. You knew what you were doing there, right? Oh, look at this. Look at this. We have one of these. We have one. It's a series of portraits or caricatures of the guys in the collectors group. One of these collectors groups. There's a series of caricatures of them. And I've got one, and I think there's a whole bunch of them in here. So this is going to help fill out. Some of these have not been stored very well. The markings up here are not printed, they're foxing. And this is a woodblock print. It looks like it's painted, but they've just simply copied it in woodblock. There's a bit of junk mixed in here. Look at this. You can see the halftone. The one on the right here, again, this is crummy printing. You can see the grain, the halftone screen. And the one on the left is a normal woodblock print. This one, these two, good. I knew these were in there. This is a series of women's, excuse me, women's kimono and fashion over the centuries, and it's a series of I think 12, and we have 9 of them, and I'm missing 3, and I don't know. I've never seen the other ones, so I don't know what they look like. And I think I have both of these actually, but I think there's lots more in this pile. So if we're really lucky, we will score the missing 3, and we'll be able to fill up our set. So someone's asking about the company in Kyoto that had we've done nothing on it. Nothing. We're just too busy. I would love to go down there. I haven't even written to them yet. Now, I think considering that they've got their blocks from the Meiji time in their storehouse, there's really actually no rush on this. But no, I haven't done anything on that yet. I'm sorry. Just life is just too much. Too much. Oh, here, that's that same series. The Jidai series about fashion. We have a number here. This is number 8 of a set. Don't know what this is. I've never seen that before. Okay, well, we can't obviously sit here going through all 300 of these. We'll report back later on. Lots of them will be coming online over the coming years, not the coming weeks and days. This will go into our collection, and they will be, bit by bit by bit, they'll come online. So just have patience. Yeah, the 8 looked upside down, so it looked upside down. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be an 8, or maybe it's just, that's the typical thing when you get a Japanese carver working with figures that he's not familiar with. So I don't know. If we have more in the set, it might tell us something different. That's bizarre. What's the characters here? This is not Japanese kanji characters. They look like Hindi? I've got no idea. What are the characters? Anybody know? I have no idea what I'm looking at here. It's not Chinese. I think something like Sanskrit or Hindi or something like this. I don't know. I'm sorry. If there's more in there, here's another one. There are more. Here's another one. It's obviously a zodiac set. That was a tiger. This is a cockerel. It's obviously a zodiac set. This says Fudo. The part of it I can read. Fudo, the kanji. But I can't read the thing at the top. It's not kanji. And they're also not very well made. It's a very cheap little thing. Okay, let's just find another nice one to finish off with. Oh, is that the same one? Is this a repeat? Did we have the same girl with a different color swimsuit? This has also got a date. It's dated Showa 4. Showa 4. I don't know. 31, 41, 31. 1929. Showa 4, 1929. Yeah. So that's our year, the roaring 20s. Okay, let's wrap it up, let's wrap it up, let's wrap it up. I have got to get to work, and you know what my work is today. I've got to get to work. So obviously there's lots of repeats coming here. There's the yokai series and there's an actor series. Lots of repeats coming in. So, okay. All right. Okay, thanks for joining in today. You know what my job is now. I got to get back to my actual real work here. Over the last 2 days, I've done 3 colors each day. I did 3 colors Thursday, 3 colors Friday, except for the last that little one, which I saved for you guys. Then today's goal also is 3 colors. And if I can keep that up, there's 15 colors in this print. It means I'll be finished by Monday night. And that's the goal here, to try and get this print finished as fast as I can. But I've also got other work to do. I know Kazama-san's coming today to talk about New York chicken, and I've got to get the color separations made for the 3rd print in the 8 views of cats. I can show it to you. Where is it? Just a minute. It's here. It's here. This came back to me the other day. The key block for the 3rd print in the 8 views of cat series is carved and ready and done. And Kawasaki-san is now waiting at home. She wants color blocks. And here you are, seen for the first time ever. Here's the key block for print number 3, and this is going to be Evening Bell. We're not making them in the same order that I proposed originally. Next was supposed to be Autumn Moon. Evening Bell is next. And this is going to be a Shinhanga style, kind of like a Hasui Yoshida type print of an alley in Kyoto, or alley somewhere. And that's my job tomorrow or the day after, to do the color separations and send it back to Kawasaki-san. And he's got his shoes on, yes. He's, at David's request, the guy put some shoes on, some sandals on. I love working with these designers, you know, because they're so happy to work with us. When we make a reasonable request of them, they comply. I asked her, I said, look, the guy, there's no way he would be standing outside at street level in bare feet. The guy that works in a restaurant. It's inconceivable in this country that he would have been in bare feet. And she said, okay, no problem. And she complied and put shoes on. It's wonderful to be able to work with people who are willing to do this, to cooperate, you know. So far, this is the 3rd one in the series, and so far none of the designers have been, oh yeah, they've all been really, really happy to work with us. It's great. Okay, I am now out of here. Thanks very much for watching. We'll put the outside scene up for a minute here before I turn it off. And I'll be back Monday morning, 2 days from now, and I'll be doing another one of these printing gradations. There's no way I'll be finished this thing before Monday, so next Monday's stream will also be a similar printing stream. I'm not sure which impression it'll be, but it will be another printing stream. 300 little prints. Merry Christmas. Okay guys, thanks very much. I'll see you on Monday morning. Monday morning for me. Bye-bye for now. Thank you.